Okay, so the first step is to preheat the oven to 200C or gas 6. And we're going to grease a non-stick baking tray just really lightly to stop the scones from sticking. We're then going to weigh our self-raising flour. You will need 250 grams, making sure that the scale was set to 0 before you begin. Then we're going to add our block margarine, so we need 50 grams, adding it into the flour, making sure we've zeroed the scale before weighing it. Moving the bowl off the scale, we're going to cut the butter into pieces, and then we're going to get started on the rubbing in. Just using our fingertips to rub the butter into the flour and create a waterproof barrier so we don't get a heavy scone, we get a nice light and short textured scone. Once all the butter's been rubbed in, we're going to add a pinch of salt. This is just to balance out the flavour, and half a teaspoon of dried herbs such as dried oregano, dried basil. Mixing these in using a table knife. We're then going to move on to the cheese. We're going to grate 75 grams using the large side of a grater. We're going to keep ourselves safe by holding the grater by the handle and keeping our fingers right out the way of the blades by holding the cheese with flat fingers when we're doing the last bit. The grated cheese is going to get added into the dry ingredients. Make sure that all of it goes in and give it a stir using the table knife again to make it sure it's really combined. We're now moving on to the liquid ingredients. So using a measuring jug, we need 125 mils of milk. Make sure you get down to eye level to check the volume. We're then going to add this into the dry ingredients by making a well in the middle. Add most of the milk and then judge whether you need the second addition. You want the dough to start clumping, and when it does you can get your hands in to bring the dough together. The aim is to have a soft but not sticky dough. Once we've achieved that, use the big dough ball to wipe around the bowl to collect up any of the dry bits, and then we're going to chafe the dough. So we do this by just folding the edges under and keep patting the top down until we end up with a nice smooth surface. About 2 to 3 centimetres thick we want the dough, so that we can then cut it out using cutters. Re-scrunch and chafe the dough so that you can cut out your next scones, and then the last one just scrunch it together so it's roughly the same size. Transfer them onto your greased baking tray, making sure that you leave a gap so when they rise in the oven they're not going to press against each other. And then just really lightly brush the tops with milk. You don't need an awful lot, just a really light coating to help them brown in the oven. They go into the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, and when they are ready they should be a nice light golden brown and they should be well risen. Cool them a little on the tray and then transfer them to a cooling rack to finish off their cooling.